We are almost at the finish line.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Sure, bad coffee.
The finish line here being the Kentucky Derby itself. We've been talking about this for months on end, enjoying doing it. Yeah, and before I really get into this, let's talk about our sponsors one more time. Silks.io. Go to silks.io to check out Game of Silks. The spotlight video has been showing you how potentially profitable some of these horses can be. Thousands of dollars on some of these Kentucky Derby entries. Quite the fun game to play. Really fun to get involved with Game of Silks, and really fun to get involved with having a few horses on a team like we have with Trust the Profits and above. Sherbet Coffee. Going to sherbetcoffee.com. Promo code TTP20 to get 20% off of all your coffee purchases. I mean, pouring over past performances and a cup of coffee. There's not a better combo on earth, in my opinion. But hey, we're here to talk about the Kentucky Derby, May 4th. 2024. We're going to see the Kentucky Derby race 12 at Churchill Downs. We got 20 horses entered in. We do know their post positions. We do know the morning line odds. We know that there's going to be drops along the way. I hope I don't miss them. Hope you guys enjoy them. Yeah, we're going to see some fun pictures too. Let's start off with Dornock. Yeah, there's going to be criticism of pronunciation. Everyone gets criticized for pronouncing Dornock. I don't know. Six races, 3 wins. Did not get a win last time out. The Bluegrass never really got going there. Trainer, rumblings of him trying something different with Dornock. Dornock mostly a front runner. Tried to play him from behind in this race, and it did not work out well for him. Lost to Sierra Leone by 6.5 lengths in that one. Sierra Leone being the arch rival of Dornock there. Did win the Fountain of Youth. Less impressive, though. 5-horse affair after all the scratches, beating La Dame Bro by only 1 3/4 lengths in that one. Did win the Remsen. Last horse to beat Sierra Leone. Only horse to beat Sierra Leone, I believe. We'll find that out in a second. Broke his maiden at Keeneland. Yeah, so Dornock getting Luis Saez. Not going into this looking super strong, but maybe the trainer figured something out. Remains to be seen. We'll find out on Saturday. Moving on, we are going to Sierra Leone. Yeah, 3 wins in 4 races, 1 second place. Second place was to Dornock and the Remsen, as we mentioned before. Very close there. Nearly an undefeated horse here because he only lost by about a nose in that one. Came from 9th place back at the Bluegrass, back at the half mile to be just a touch by 1.5 lengths in that one. We're talking about a deep closer here. Sierra Leone is your deep closer. Did win the Risen Star, going 9 furlongs in that one, coming back from 9th place in that one to beat Track Phantom by half a length. Second at the Remsen, like I said, battling Dornock tooth and nail. Down the stretch, trading first place for second place. Did end up losing in that one. Tyler Gaffleon on the mount here for Sierra Leone, and he's going to be your second money line favorite. Mystic Dan. So yeah, Mystic Dan, 2 wins in 6 races. Last time out, 3rd place at the Arkansas Derby, coming from 8th place, 6 lengths back. Moved up to 3rd in that one, as I mentioned. He was still 6 lengths back of Muth in that race. Was the winner at the Southwest Stakes in a sloppy mess, beating Just Steel by 8 lengths in that one. He was the only horse where it seemed like the slop didn't bother him, with an 8-length lead on Just Steel in that one. So, I mean, put a pin in that. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting rain at the Kentucky Derby, but if all of a sudden a system develops and we're getting bored on, I would suggest looking a little bit deeper at Mystic Dan. Just a little wink, wink, nod, nod there. 5th place at the Smarty Jones, was in second most of the race, but faded back. Catching Freedom won in that one. Yeah, Ken McPeak, BJ Hernandez, moving on from Mystic Dan. Next up, we do have Catching Freedom, one of 3 Brad Cox horses in this race. Flavian Pratt on the mount here. 3 wins in 5 races. First place at the Louisiana Derby, going 9.5 furlongs in that one. This is the long of the U.S. prep races, going 9.5 furlongs. Overtaking Track Phantom, holding off Honor Marie to win over Honor Marie by 1 length in that race. Before that, got 3rd at the Risen Star, going 9 furlongs in that one, losing to Sierra Leone by 1 3/4. Did win the Smarty Jones before that, 8.5 furlongs, 2-length lead on Just Steel, closing from 5th place. Yeah, so Catching Freedom here. Brad Cox's most likely top horse. Some people like another horse, though. Catalytic. Kind of an interesting entry into the Derby here. Not super high up on the Derby entries, coming from Saffy Joseph Jr. Really, a lot of people only got to know him in his first stakes race at the Florida Derby, getting second place in that one. Still 13 lengths behind Fierceness, but second place nonetheless. So gaining those points. Catalytic moves into the Derby due to that. Has never finished outside of first or second. Of course, this is going to be a wider field than he's used to, going through maiden special and allowance optional claimers other than his race at the Florida Derby. So Catalytic, a bit of an unknown here. Just Steel, small text. I realized Just Steel, 11 races, has a lot going on. Quite a long history for a 3-year-old at this point. And I did do a spotlight video on Just Steel, so I'll let you know what I thought about him. Did get second place at the Arkansas to Muth after stalking pace most of the way. Following Muth to the finish line, impressively staying within 2 lengths of him there. Did get 7th place at the Rebel, and I worked out a couple reasons why that could be. He got a bad start. He was on 3 weeks rest. He did hang in 12th for most of the race, improved to 7th, but was still 10 lengths back of Timberlake in that one. Second at the Southwest Stakes. 3 weeks before that, sitting off the pace for most of the race. Never really fading, but also Mystic Dan, like in the mud. Still lost by 8 lengths, Mystic Dan, in that one. Again, a muddy affair. Second in the Smarty Jones to Catching Freedom. You're going to see Just Steel's name come up a lot here. So moving on to Anna Marie. 2 wins in 5 races for Anna Marie. Second to Catching Freedom, Louisiana Derby. Coming from 9th place, but still losing by 1 length in that one. 5th place at the Risen Star. Starting out the race in 10th to 11th place for most of the time there. Closing to 5th, 6 lengths off of Sierra Leone in that one. Was your winner at the Kentucky Jockey Club. Real sexy pick for a lot of people. Another deep closer like Sierra Leone, but one that you get a better price on here. Just a touch. Second of 3, third of 3. Brad Cox horses, depending on who you talk to. He's got 3 races to his name. Didn't update the should be 3, 1, and 2 there. So he's got a win and 2 second place finishes in 3 races. Second place at the Bluegrass Stakes, staying just off the pace behind Top Connor, taking over, entering the stretch, but of course getting passed by Sierra Leone in that one. Sierra Leone having the kick to get first place by 1.5 lengths. Second place at the Gotham, well before that, behind Deterministic by 2 lengths, and of course broke his maiden. So this is a serious mount here for Brad Cox. He put Florent Giroux on Just a Touch. Encino. What do we got here for Encino?
Shush!
Okay. Mark Palmer getting offended by that one, I can see already. 3 races for Encino, 2 wins in those 3 races. All at Turfway, except for the Lexington. I got to update that one here. So 4 races. So winner of the Lexington, beating the Wine Steward by 3/4 of a length in that one. Winner at the Battaglia, beating Epic Ride by 1 length at the Battaglia. Broke his maiden second time out. Should be 4 races, 3 wins, and 1 second place finish. Axel Concepcion getting the mount here. I do want to note that in the Lexington Stakes, Florent Giroux did get the mount, so it's going to be a change of jockey here. Axel Concepcion having some history with Encino, so it shouldn't be that much of a difference. But he is coming from the Lexington, which has the shortest rest of all the prep races. T.O. Password, 2 wins in 2 races lifetime. First place at the Fukuryu. Oh, yes. Japanese not so good. Stakes at Nakayama, going 9 furlongs in that one. Gate to wire, but almost losing at the end. The 4th horse nearly clipped him there. Final time there was 1:54, which in my estimation is a pretty high time for 9 furlongs. I am not high on T.O. Password, but this could be another pace setter here. Forever Young, 5 wins in 5 races, which is impressive. I do want to focus here on the UAE Derby. Came out 3 lengths off the pace to close for a 2 to 3 length victory. running at 157.89. I'm going to go into detail on that in a second here. I think that's the race we should focus on most. It's the most high profile. Yeah, in terms of 9.5 furlong prep races, I got my own special chart here. I've got this ranked by final times. So you can see if we look at Epicenter, Hot Rod Charlie, horses that came in the money, let's say that. Hot Rod Charlie, you could say finished second or third, depending on if you count um, Medina Spirit's win there. Either way, Hot Rod Charlie ran a great race. Those are horses that ran 154, 155, low 155 for Hot Rod Charlie. You had Mendelssohn after that. Yeah, he finished 20th at the Derby, but got roughed up early there. Had the 9th position, got banged up early on, and just never really recovered from it. After that, you got Derma Sotogake, who ran a high 155 and finished 6th in the Derby. Got a couple did not runs after that, and Catching Freedom, want to note that at 156. And we start to get into worse finishes, right? Kings Barnes with a 157. Thunder Snow had some issues, didn't even finish in the Derby, and then we've got a 9th and an 8th and a 13th for Lonnie, plus Cave Parfait and Crown Pride. So you see where Forever Young fits in that. He's after Thunder Snow, after Kings Barnes, so I'm expecting him to be somewhere in the teens in this one. I'm not as high on Forever Young as some people are. We'll move on to Track Phantom. Track Phantom and Darling early on in January. One that we were seeing wins from in the Gun Runner and the Lecomte, but of course, things change over time. Those wins don't necessarily hold up the same as they do once you get in the Risen Star and the Louisiana Derby. And of course, with the Louisiana Derby, we saw him finishing out of the money for the first time. Setting the pace in that one, fading to 2.5 lengths back of Catching Freedom um, in a race that comes best to the Kentucky Derby. Second at the Risen Star, that's when we started to see chinks in the armor, losing by half a length there to Sierra Leone, but was winner of the Lecomte and the Gun Runner. West Saratoga, as we're getting closer to the end here, 10 races for West Saratoga, 2 wins lifetime, got that second place finish at the Jeff Ruby Stakes, holding the third for most of the race, and then finishing that pack of horses that was 4 lengths off of Endlessly, but he did have a nose ahead there. Third at the Sam F. Davis, sitting in fourth for most of the race, improving, but still 6 lengths behind, No More Time, and 5 behind Agate Road there. Second at the Pasco Stakes, 12 lengths behind Bookham Dano, and really where most people got to know him was at the Iroquois early on, just like with Track Phantom. Don't have a whole lot to watch prepping for the Derby, so the Iroquois looked pretty good when West Saratoga won that one. Endlessly. One of the more interesting storylines in the Derby's Endlessly. 5 wins in 6 races. Super impressive, right? Winner of the Jeff Ruby Stakes by 4 lengths in that one, dropping a 150.18, 9th for a long time, which I love. Also won the El Camino Real, closing from 7th to win by 1.25 lengths in that one. The one time he finished out of the money was BC Juvenile Turf. I mean, we're talking about a horse that's run twice on Tapeta, 4 times on turf, has yet to run on dirt. He's going to do it for the first time at the Derby. That's what makes him interesting. Michael McCarthy horse, Umberto Rispoli, they liked what they saw at Turfway, at Jeff Ruby Stakes, and who can blame them? I mean, this is a horse that qualified for the Derby, looked good, has really only lost 1 time, so why not throw him in? I have a feeling Sean Patrick Nolan, SPN, is going to give us a rundown on Endlessly one of these days. Someone on the Prophets will, and I'm very curious to hear what they say. It's a very, very interesting horse here. Domestic Product. We're going into the second Chad Brown horse here after Sierra Leone. 2 wins in 5 races. Winner of the Tampa Bay Derby, beating No More Time by a neck in that one. Second at the Holy Bull, 2 lengths behind Hades, closing from 5th place. 7th at the Remsen, hung in 4th place most of the way, fell way back in that one behind Dornock, 16 lengths in that one. Irad Ortiz gets them out here. Definitely a notable jockey. Grandmo the First. Yeah, this is probably one of the horses where people said I had no idea he was going to enter in the Derby. It didn't really come up on a lot of people's minds. Had been running in Florida though. Victor Barboza Jr., the trainer here, 2 wins, a couple notable 3rd place finishes, including the Florida Derby, maintaining 3rd most of the time there, still 16 lengths off of Fierceness. 3rd place at the Tampa Bay Derby, behind Domestic Product and No More Time there, 1 to 2 off of those 2 horses, and then 3rd at the Zuma Beach Stakes, a turf race there, behind Endlessly, who's also in the Derby, as we just noted. Fierceness.
Fierce, 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 fierce.
Can't stop talking about fierceness. 3 wins in 5 races and 1 third place finish. We know the good. Florida Derby with a bullet going gate to wire, 13 length win over Catalytic in that one. We know the bad. Third place finish to Hades and the Holy Bulls, starting out in third place, stalking the pace, taking the lead over at one point. Then Hades knocking him back down during the stretch to get a three length win. We also know the good, the BC Juvenile beating Muth and Locke by 6 lengths. And then we also know the bad, the Champagne Stakes. Took 7th place, 20 lengths behind Timberlake. Looked like he was going to make a move and just sort of fell back. So which horse are we going to get, and what is the reason for the bad? That's the debate that a lot of people are raging right now. So yeah, I think it falls into 2 camps. One, if you believe that he was coming off of a long layoff, could be resting an issue, then you got no problems. If you believe that it was bumping, as they showed in the videos, there could be some bumping that knocked him off his game. Maybe he's not a horse that really reacts well to contact. Then we got a problem for the Derby. Yeah, definitely an interesting storyline to watch, because other than that, he checks all the boxes. He's got the best 8.5 mile. Sorry, 8.5 for a long time. He's got the best 9 for a long time. He looks like the best horse. It's just in a 20 horse race. Are there certain negatives that are going to knock him down to make him not a great Derby horse? Stronghold. A lot of people didn't like the draw for Stronghold. I get it. Still a great horse. In 6 races, 3 times first, 3 times second. Won the Santa Anita Derby. Looked great doing it. Over Imagination. After running 4th most of the race, Imagination looked great in that race as well. He was only a neck behind Stronghold, but Stronghold is your winner. Winner of the Sunland Park Derby, going 8.5 furlongs in that one for a 142, beating a lot of luck. Second at Los Alamitos Derby behind Winstock. Second at the Bob Hope behind Nice House, but who wasn't. So yeah, very interesting. This is your West Coast horse entry. Resilience, 2 wins in 5 races for Resilience. Winner of the Wood Memorial, stalking the pace, taking over down the stretch to beat Society Man by 2 1/4 lengths in that one. 4th at the Risen Star, so he raced against Sierra Leone there, 3.5 lengths behind Sierra Leone in that one. Yeah, he's raced against a bunch of good horses. Took him 4 races to break his maiden. In that time, he raced against Track Phantom, Stronghold, Nash. Yeah, he's raced a lot of these horses already. And finally, we're at Society Man. Possibly the best Insta-toss. Second place at the Wood, 2 1/4 behind Resilience. Broke his maiden 4th time out at Aqueduct. 3rd place finish and Speedrunner, etc., etc. Not digging too deep into Society Man. I think we're going to take a pass on him. Guys, we are at the finish line here. What am I going to do? Who am I going to pick? Probably not too much of a surprise here. I did go with Fierceness as the safe pick. I think he is a safe pick. Even with the knocks against him, I do like Fierceness the best. I get it. If you don't like Fierceness because of the bumping, if you think that's the issue, it's hard to argue for him to be wearing the roses if he can't take the bumping. This is the Derby. There's always a whole bunch of bumping going on. If you can get out there in front, take that outside edge and really turn it, this is his race. If he gets out in front, he's the type of horse that can finish this thing off. But also, I like Just Steel here. This is a horse that hasn't won a whole lot. He's my value play, but he's been there, right? He was not far behind Muth. Muth not in this race. Not far behind Muth at the Arkansas Derby. If you like Muth, you like Just Steel. It's the common phrase that we've been using. Yeah, I think that he's extremely good value here. Kind of like a Mandaloun or a Midnight Bourbon in the past. Maybe a horse that doesn't always hit the board in terms of a win, but hits the board in terms of a show. And then maybe this is his race. I think he's a great underneath play as well. No trifecta box I'm going to be playing is going to be without Just Steel. So if you're going to key a horse, I mean, it's a toss-up between Fierceness and Sierra Leone. I'm probably going to key Fierceness. It's probably going to be between him and Sierra Leone. I'm just trying to think who's the safer pick here. The safest pick is probably Sierra Leone, but he also has a ways to go too, because he's a deep closer that has to find his nose through traffic, and he's got to find his way up to the front before he gets to the end. So there's that. Um, but yeah, you got to play those two. I'm giving you 5 horses here. Got to play those two. I like Just Steel. I also like Stronghold. Yeah, the position isn't great for him. Um, but I think the horse is good. I'm going off of the horses I think run the best times. I don't think any position here is great. It's still 20 horses banging into each other. And I'm going to go with Dornock. I think the trainer may have figured something out after Florida. Um, Tried something new with him. Didn't necessarily work, but I think they're going to make some adjustments for this race. I think he's one of the better horses in this race. He's battled with Sierra Leone a couple times already. So yeah, I mean, let's see it. I'll put him in there as my 5th horse. I feel good about that. I think a lot of people like Just a Touch here. I'm not as high on him. That could be a horse that beats me. Obviously, I've negged on Forever Young. That could come back to bite me. But yeah, go ahead. Oh, and Anna Marie, obviously. Some people at Trusted Profits are going to hate that I left Anna Marie off, but so be it. So be it. These are my picks. What are your picks? Let me know in the comment section. Love to see it. Goodbye.